Music websites from the Dead Indiana U Music Resource website. Chapter 1. Music websites 1. The website https://web.archive.org/web/2013174617/http/www.libraries.iub.edu/index.php, page ID equals 90. There are so many categories and the websites are so old that I only put about half of them in this book. If you're a serious music student, you could look through to see if there is anything else there useful to you. Many of these music websites are old and dead, but you get titles and info like in the music journal category that you can use to find a new website. They created this database in the early days of the internet, then realized that a lot of these websites die fast, so they got rid of the whole thing. Music.indiana.edu, the music school at Indiana University. There is hardly any info on it. You need a student ID to log in to see the music resources. Try this website for all libraries there. Libraries.iub.edu. Music job websites. Chronicle.com/jobs, the Chronicle of Higher Education, Career Network. jobs.chronicle.com/free/jobs/faculty/humanities/mus/links.htm, the Chronicle of Higher Education, Career Network, Music. classicweb.com/jobs.htm, classic web music jobs. oberlin.edu/con/crc, Conservatory Career Resource Center. Oberlin Conservatory of Music. music.indiana.edu/som/placement, Indiana University School of Music Placement Bulletin. musictherapy.org/joblist.html, job opportunities in music therapy. From AMTA. nafme.org/industry/job/jobcente.html, MENC Job Center. Music Educators National Conference. musicjobs.com, Music Jobs Online. musiclibraryassociation.org/se_job.htm, Music Library Association Job List. music.org/infosurvey/infosurvey.html, Music Vacancy List. collegemusicsociety.org/index.htm. nagps.org/index_high.html, Job Bank. From the National Association of Graduate Professional Students, by membership. classicalmusic.co.uk/view-vacancies.asp, vacancies seeking musicians. Classical Music UK. vacancies.ac.uk, vacancies service. NIS. heavenet.com/hbcn/vacancies/auditions.html, Viola Auditions website. Music resource websites. library.yale.edu/musiclib/webras.htm, Irving S. Gilmore Music Library, Yale University. lib.uwaterloo.ca/society/music_soc.html, Scholarly Societies Project, University of Waterloo. ams-net.org/www-musicology.php, www Sites of Interest to Musicologists, American Musicological Society. Individual musicians, all genres, and popular groups. Click a letter. This is a only. a-ha.com/frames/a-ha.php, aha. hedge/ABBA, ABBA. Undermyspell.com, the Paula Abdul web page. By John Ellis. ac-dc.cc, ac/dc. Bedlam in Belgium. egbert.com/home/egbert/home.html, action figures. monsterbit.com/adults/adults.html, adults. Band from Austin, Texas. Aerosmith.com, Aerosmith official site. christina-a.com, Christina Aguilera official website. airsupply-online.com, airsupplymusic.com. thealarm.com, the Alarm Archive. sound.photosynthesis.com/ali_akbar_khan.html, Ali Akbar Khan. Indian music. allmanbrothersband.com/modules.php?op $name=sign.file=index, the Allman Brothers Band. toriamos.com, Tori Amos. laurieanderson.com, Laurie Anderson. Violinist, singer. antenna-theater.org/theater.htm, antenna. markanthonyonline.com, Mark Anthony official website. Latin. anythingbox.com, anythingbox official site. rahul.net/hrmusic/artists/jaart.html, Joan Arma compiles lullabies with a difference. Satchmo.net, Louis Armstrong House and Archives. Rosenthal Library, Queens College, CUNY, Flushing, New York. ArnoldJazz.com, Bruce Arnold. Guitarist, composer, jazz. AsiaWorld.org, Asia. Composer websites. Earbox.com, John Adams. fmp.com/imram, David Imram. LeroyAnderson.com, Leroy Anderson. American composer of light concert music. mg.net/TJ Anderson, TJ Anderson. Antile.org, George Antile. classical.net/music/comp.lst/bachjs.html, Johann Sebastian Bach. classical.net/music/comp.lst/works/bachjs/cantatas.html, Bach Cantata Guide. bach-leipzig.de/webnews/index4.html, Bach Archive Leipzig, Germany. oder.let.rug.nl/linguistics/diversen/bach/intro.html, Bach Archive and Bibliography. jan.ucc.nau.edu/tas3/life.html, Johann Sebastian Bach Biography. jsbach.net/bcs, Bach Central Station. A directory of J.S. Bach resources on the Internet. jsbach.org, J.S. Bach homepage. subitomusic.com/baker_bio.htm, David Baker. Subito Music. andrew.cmu.edu/user/balada/index.htm, Leonardo Balada. musicweb.uk.net/bax/welcome.htm, Sir Arnold Bach's website. Richard Adams. w3.rz-berlin.mpg.de/cmp/bartok.html, Bella Bartok. uua.org/us/doobie/articles/bellabartok.html, Dictionary of Unitarian and Universalist Biography, ies.com/vienna/3948, Beethoven IRC page. info.puq.uquebec.ca/1010/cattle/Beethoven/BLV.html, Catalog of Beethoven works. isoc.org/isoc/conferences/inet/99/proceedings/2b/2b_2.htm, The Digital Beethoven House. Info. stsu.edu/departments/Beethoven, the IRAF. Brilliant Center for Beethoven Studies. San Jose State University, San Jose and Iquiot, CA. stsu.edu/departments/Beethoven/database/database.html, Beethoven Bibliography Database. musique.montreal.ca/personnel/belkin/e.index.html, Alan Belkin. bygaandeloud.com, Brian Benison. Film music composer. leonardbernstein.com, official Leonard Bernstein site. memory.loc.gov/mm/lbhtml, Leonard Bernstein collection. Library of Congress. sonyclassical.com/artists/Bernstein, Leonard Bernstein. Sony Classical. cantusquarkus.com/bbl.hdm, Franz B. Blue. braunarts.com/bertwist.le, Harrison Bertwissel. classical.net/music/comp.lst/boxchrni.html, Luigi Boccherini. musicweb.uk.net/Britain, Benjamin Britten. gavinbriers.com, Gavin Briers. caltabiano.net, Ronald Caltabiano. france.diplomat.ie.fr/culture/france/musique/composite/charpent.html, Marc-Antoine Charpentier. French. Shirmer.com/composers/chavez_bio.html, Carlos Chavez. Chopin.pl, Frederic Chopin. sonyclassical.com/artists/curigliano/bio.html, John Curigliano. Sony. uwp.edu/Crowley, James F. Crowley. georgecrum.com, official George Crumb homepage. mills.edu/academic_info/muse/acaron/curran.homepage.html, Alvin Curran. darvas.de/gd, Gabor Darvas. Hungarian composer. francescodurante.org, Francesco Durante. chefjeff.org/dvorak.htm, Antonin Dvorak. ensemble21.com/Eckhart, Jason Eckhart. elgar.org, Edward Elgar. under.org/cpcc/temerson.htm, Ty Allen Emerson. Gelt.net, Andrew Lloyd Gelt. jerrygerber.com, Jerry Gerber. Gershwin.com, official website of George and Ira Gershwin. Gershwinfan.com, George and Ira Gershwin educational fan page. Glasspages.org, Glasspages, Philip Glass on the web. percygranger.net, Percy Aldridge Granger. libunimelb.edu.o/collections/granger/museum.home.html, The Granger Museum. luxnova.com/comp/message, Mark Gresham. composer/conductor. gfhandel.org, George Frederick Handel. beruichladdijk.dcs.st-and.ac.uk/handel, www/handelcat.html, George Frederick Handel Catalog. Biography and thematic index site. mycene/hr handel/hh welcome.html, here Handel. A schedule of live performances worldwide, old. uib.no/Hermann, Bernard Herrmann. edwarddudleyhughes.com, Edward Dudley Hughes. staff.dmu.ac.uk/ahu/hugil.htm, Andrew Hugil. w3.rz-berlin.mpg.de/cmp/ives.html, Charles Ives. From classical music pages. sun.rhbnc.ac.uk/music/Janacek, Leos Janacek. oak.org, the Organization of American Codaly Educators. under.org/cpcc/slias.htm, Stephen Lias. virtual.finland.fi/f-info/english/lindberg.html, Magnus Lindberg. midiworld.com/list.htm, Franz Liszt page. midiworld. d-vista.com/other/franzlist.html, rz-berlin.mpg.de/cmp/ligti.html, Ligeti. sonyclassical.com/artists/ligti_top.htm, georgelloyd.com, George Lloyd Music Library. Albany Records. music.indiana.edu/som/lamc/info/whoswho/lawrence.html, Ricardo Lawrence. unt.edu/lully, Jean-Baptiste Lully Collection. University of North Texas Lully Web Project. classical.net/music/comp.lst/marais.html, Marin Marais. maxopus.com, Max Opus. The official website of Peter Maxwell Davies. johnmccabe.com, John McCabe. cadvision.com/home_pages/accounts/list/mellers-bioworks.html, Wilfred Mellers. Musicologist, composer. w3.rz-berlin.mpg.de/cmp/mendelssohn.html, Felix Mendelssohn Bartholdy. StephenMercurio.com, Stephen Mercurio official site. Composer, conductor. Meyerbeer.com, Meyerbeer fan club. Multimania.com/Mihalik, Alexander Mihalik, Encyclopedia Musicalis. 9press.com/interval/monzo/homepage.html, Joe Monzo. Composer, music theorist. Mozartproject.org, The Mozart Project. nma.at, Nui Mozartowskaby. michaelnyman.com, Michael Nyman. lib.outlib/abccol/music/davis intro.html, Vernon Purdue Davis Collection. Old Dominion University Library. Piazzolla.org, Piazzolla.org. The Internet home of Astor Piazzolla and his Tango Nuevo. sbrkfv.net/archive/archivehome.html, The Prokofiev Archive. Prokofiev.org, The Prokofiev page. sbrkfv.net, The Serge Prokofiev Association. w3.rz-berlin.mpg.de/cmp/purcell.html, Henry Purcell. Rachmaninoff.org, Rachmaninoff Society. tango.montreal.qc.ca/rami.htm, Ariel Ramirez. terryriley.com, Terry Riley. humanities.uchicago.edu/humanities/music/computer/sandroff.html, Howard Sandroff. peabody.jhu.edu/current/js, Joseph Schillinger. Schnittke.de, Alfred Schnittke. usc.edu/isd/archives/schoenberg/asi.htm, Arnold Schoenberg Archives. Schoenberg.at, Arnold Schoenberg Center. w3.rz-berlin.mpg.de/cmp/schumann_r.html, Robert Schumann. Scriabin.society.com, Scriabin Society of America. hogriver.com/sellers_bio.html, James Sellers. Hog River Music. devonci.fr/chostakovich/va/p1uk.htm, Dmitry Shostakovich. Shostakovich.org, Shostakovich.org. helsinki.fi/casv/nakoel/sibelius.html, Jean Sibelius. Finnish composer. robertosierra.com, Roberto Sierra. music.mcgill.ca/Schulman/sorabg.html, Kaikos Perji Sorabji. England. dws.org/Sousa, John Philip Sousa homepage. scriptorium.lib.duke.edu/sgo/start.html, William Grant Still. Stockhausen.org, Karl-Heinz Stockhausen. time.com/time/time10/artists/profile/stravinsky.html, Igor Stravinsky. From Time 100 Artists and Entertainers. music.acu.edu/www/iawm/pages/strozzi.html, Barbara Strozzi. newalbion.com/artists/Sabotnikem, Morton Sabotnik. classical.net/music/comp.lst/tartini.html, Giuseppe Tartini. arts.ilstu.edu/tilde/s-taylor/index.html, Stephen Andrew Taylor. classical.net/music/comp.lst/tchaikovsky.html, Pyotr Ilyich Tchaikovsky. w3.rz-berlin.mpg.de/cmp/varese.html, Edgard Varese. go.to/Venegas, Guillermo Venegas Lovares. rdpl.red-deer.ab.ca/Villa, Villa Lobos website. Reallyuseful.com, the very best of Andrew Lloyd Webber. AntonWebern.com, Anton Webern. gram.main.nc.us/bhamel/music/webern.html, musical works of Anton Webern. kwf.org, Kurt Weil Foundation for Music. johnwilliams.org, John Williams web pages. classicalrecordings.com/John Williams, the unofficial John Williams homepage. schoenberglaw.com/Zizel, Eric library.ukla.edu/libraries/music/mlsc/Zizel, Eric archive. Composer list websites. ovar.myweb.nl, 20th century Soviet composers. plato.acadiau.ca/courses/musi/colon/2243/cron.htm, a chronological list of composers born 1692 to 1797. Gordon J. Colon. voyager.physics.unlv.edu/webpages2/archive_pop.html, classical composers archive. cl.cam.ac.uk/users/mn200/music/composers.html, classical composer biographies. classical-composers.net, classical composers database. w3.rz-berlin.mpg.de/cmp/classmuse.html, classical music pages. classical.net/music/msdrindex.html, composer master index. edinburgh.edu/cwis/music/cordell/timeline.html, composer timeline. musicanet.org/en/nevgb1.htm, composers anniversaries. eamdc.com/compass.html, composers profiles. edu.yourq.ca/ciermain.html, composers in electronic residence. door.de/autor/index.htm, composers index. Editions Door, mostly contemporary music. Composers.net, composers page. eyenetter.com/ccm/composers/index.html, contemporary classical music composers. muziekgroep.nl/componisten, Dunnemuse composers listing. Dutch composers. stevenestrella.com/composers, drive. Estrella's abridged dictionary of composers. fimic.fi/fimic/pages/mike51.htm, Finnish composers. schirmer.com/composers.html, g. Schirmer composers list. classical.net/music/composers/index.html, a guide to composer data and works lists. Anniversaries, birthdays, etc. guildmusic.com/composer.htm, guild music composers list. hyperion-records.co.uk/composer_index.asp, Hyperion composer index. kalvos.org, Calvos and Damien's New Music Bazaar. New music composers from around the world. gmd.de/miscellaneous/music/lists, lists of works of classical composers. parnas.com/netnewmusic.shtml, net new music. newalbion.com/artists, new Albion artists. rick.stanford.edu/opera/composers.html, opera composers. From Opera Glass at Stanford University. By Rick Bogert. beethovenfm.cl/cgi-bin/enciclopedia.cgi, radio Beethoven. Composers list, Spanish. sfpl4.sfpl.org/artmusic/sfcompdic.html, San Francisco Bay Area and Northern California composers. Compiled by the Art and Music Center in the San Francisco Public Library. Presser.com/cgallery.html, Theodore Presser Company Composer Gallery. Classical.net/music/composer/dates/comp9.html, timelines of composers. France.diplomatie.fr/culture/France/musique/composite/index.html, ungallery to compositeurs. kith.org/jimmosque/toc.html, unknown composers page. Marching band websites. lonestar.texas.net/lpost/ahe, Austin Horn Ensemble. Austin, TX. asband.org, Austin Symphonic Band. bloomingtoncommunityband.com, Bloomington Community Band. Bloomington, in. cavaliers.org/home.html, Cavaliers Drum and Bugle Corps. Rosemont, IL. cccband.org, Chester County, PA, Concert Band. Community Band. dws.org, Dallas Wind Symphony. Professional Wind Band, Dallas, TX. dci.org, Drum Corps International. Atlanta, GA. Fairfaxband.org, the City of Fairfax Band. Fairfax, VA. fz-weyhausen.de, Fanfarenzugwehausen. Germany. Freckletonband.co.uk, Freckleton Band. Aylesbury, Bucks, England. Greenwoodband.com, Greater Greenwood Community Band. Greenwood, in. worldmilitarybands.com, Heritage of Military Bands of the World. Information primarily on Canadian bands. indiana.edu/bands/home.html, Indiana University Department of Bands. indiana.edu/bands/100.html, Indiana University Marching 100. gabbf.com/indie.html, Indianapolis Symphonic Band. Indianapolis, in. realism.com/Pierce, Los Angeles Symphonic Wines. Los Angeles, CA. mangermusiklag.com, Manger Musiklag. Norwegian Brass Band. marchingpercussion.com, the Marching Percussion website. marchingsoutherners.org, Marching Southerners. Jacksonville State University, Jacksonville, AL. smu.edu/wind_ensemble, Meadows Wind Ensemble. Southern Methodist University, Meadows School of the Arts, Dallas, TX. orlandpark.org/band, Orland Park Community Band. Orland Park, IL. princeton.edu/pu band, Princeton University Band. Princeton, New Jersey. abo.fi/maddie/sointusatsikko.html, sointusitsiko. A Finnish brass septet. dws.org/Sousa/band.htm, Sousa's Band. The most famous band in history. spiritofatlanta.org, Spirit of Atlanta Drum and Bugle Corps. Woodstock, GA. web.indstate.edu/community/thcb, Terre Haute Community Band. Terre Haute, in. cavern.uark.edu/razar band, University of Arkansas Bands. Fayetteville, AK. uga.edu/yuga bands, University of Georgia Bands. Athens, GA. unl.edu/band, University of Nebraska Band page. Lincoln, NE. nd.edu/bagpipes, University of Notre Dame Bagpipe Band. nd.edu/nd band, University of Notre Dame Band page. Notre Dame, in. cs.gwu.edu/carol/Vienna, Vienna Community Band. Vienna. Marching Band Resource Websites. harrogate.co.uk/harrogate-band/webraing.htm, brass bands webraing. mchsband.com/mbonline, marching bands online. mbonline. bands.org, Bands of America. marchingarts.com, marching arts directory. Music competition websites. uk-piano.org/5towns, 5 Towns Music and Art Foundation. Music and Arts Competition, Woodmere, New York. banffcenter.ab.ca/music/bisqc, Banff International String Quartet Competition. Banff, Alberta, Canada. infolink.runt.edu/musk-web/competition.html, Bartok Kabalevsky International Piano Competition. Radford, VA. bill-lewington.com/competition.htm, British Flute Society Performance Plus Competition. bfs.org.uk. serve.com/violin/comp.html, Clear Lake Symphony Annual New Music Competition. Houston, TX. concertartists.org, Concert Artists Guild New York Competition. New York, New York. angelfire.com/music2/edition Gemini, edition Gemini Composers Competition. bhour.com/comp.asp, Gina Bachauer International Piano Competition. guitarfoundation.org/setpiece.html, Guitar Foundation of America Set Piece Competition. Claremont, CA. guitarfoundation.org/solocomp.html, Guitar Foundation of America Solo Guitar Competition. uoknor.edu/music/hennigan/index.html, Michael Hennigan Prize in Music Composition. University of Oklahoma, Norman, OK. honens.com, Esther Honens Calgary International Piano Competition. Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Filmfestival.be, Flanders International Film Festival Competition, The Impact of Music on Film. anl.gov/arts/cello-competition.html, Hams Cello Competition 2000. Argonne, IL. violin-wettbewerb.de, Hanover International Violin Competition. ffair.com/pr/competition/asolo.html, Asolo Award, International Competition of Musical Composition for Symphonic Orchestras and String Orchestras. Euromusica, Asolo, Italy. Tchaikovsky.ru/comp/comp.htm, 1998 International Tchaikovsky Competition. Violin.org, International Violin Competition of Indianapolis. nimef.org/competition.html, New International Music Festival and Competition. simpiatico.ca/arts.orford/caoa/caacon/conc.html, 4th Orford Arts Centre International Music Competition. Quebec, Canada. usca.sc.edu/events/hoffman/default.html, Joseph Hoffman Piano Competition and Festival. pulitzer.org/navigation/index.html, Pulitzer Prizes. fondazione.org/inglese/index_.html, Romualdo del Bianco Foundation, Hymn Competition. Florence, Italy. allentownzmphony.org/shat, Shat String Competition. Allentown, PA. comminute.or.jp/simc, Sendai International Music Competition. Japan. Songwriter.net, USA Songwriter Competition. Clyburn.org, Van Cliburn International Piano Competition. Fort Worth, TX. Clyburn.com/vclib.htm old. neonpages.com/Naumburg, Walter W. Naumburg Foundation. International Vocal Competition, New York. birdartists.com, William C. Bird Young Artist Competition for Musicians. Michigan. YCA.org, Young Concert Artists, Inc. Lists. cmc.ie/opportunities/opportunities.html, composers competitions. composersforum.com/compopier.htm, contests and opportunities. Chapter 2. Music websites 2. 20th century music websites. arcmusic.org, the archive of contemporary music. anywmuse.net, New MuseNet. otherminds.org, Other Minds. Dedicated to new and unusual music. Music database websites. baroqueflute.com/database/data.html, 18th century flute database. Listings for about 1,700 instruments, with details of attribution, maker's mark, materials, keys, and reports in the literature. lemur.stanford.edu/jbaxter/acd/album dbase, a cappella album database. uncg.edu/mus/courses/flmcart/amr/index.html, American Music Resource. Information about all styles of music indigenous to the Western Hemisphere. sun.rhbnc.ac.uk/music/archive/disserts, archive of dissertation abstracts in music. aria-database.com, ARIA database. Robert Glaubitz, translations, ARIA texts, and collection of MIDI files. bachdigital.uni-leipzig.de, Bach Digital. Beethoven Bibliography Database at San Jose State University. moondog.usask.ca/hitelnet/ful/065.html, nfo.net, the Big Bands Database. biography.com, biography.com. Includes data from the Cambridge Encyclopedia Database and the Cambridge Dictionary of American Biography. public.asu.edu/ICWWH, British Song Fa La La. Database of British and songs representing a body of song literature from the end of the 16th century to the present. imr.utsa.edu/krsS.html, Cares for Music. Computer Assisted Information Retrieval Service System. nlc-bnc.ca/4/16/index-e.html. nlc-bnc.ca/4/16/m16-105-e.html, periodical title list. Focuses on articles and news items covering all aspects of musical activity in Canada from the late 19th century to the present day, updated monthly. publish.uwo.ca/cantus, Indices of chants in selected manuscripts and early printed sources of the Divine Office. Ingenta.com, Ingentat. Index to articles/article delivery system. cddb.com, CDDB. Largest database of audio CD, title, track, and song information. musicbase.cz/indexn.php, Czech Contemporary Music Database. oberlin.edu/library/libencollect/dah.html, Dictionary of American Hymnology. Oberlin College Library and the Hymn Society in the U.S. and Canada. diamem.ac.uk, Digital Image Archive of Medieval Music. Diam aims to digitize and enhance images of fragmentary British manuscripts of medieval polyphonic music. library.yale.edu/tilde/segglstn/mugdir, Directory of Music User Guides for Libraries. Compiled by the Bibliographic Instruction Subcommittee, Music Library Association. boethius.music.ucsb.edu/mto/docs/dis-index.html, Dissertations in Music Theory from MTO. Society for Music Theory, Abstracts. music.indiana.edu/ddm, Doctoral Dissertations in Musicology Online. DDM Online. encarta.msn.com, Encarta Encyclopedia. standingstones.com/museencyc.html, Encyclopedia of Traditional Celtic Music. www.norton.com/classical, essentials of music. www. Norton and Sony Classical, Eras, Composers, Glossary. ibiblio.org/folkindex, folk music, an index to recorded resources. By Jane Kiefer. library.wstl.edu/units/music/necros/index.html, Gaylord Music Library, Necrology. Death dates of recently deceased composers. s-hamilton.k12.ia.us/antiqua/inster-umt.html, Guide to Medieval and Renaissance Instruments. h-net.msu.edu/mustxt, h-muse text. Devoted to encouraging discourse and sharing information among scholars and professionals active in genre, exploring the relationships between music and text. Theses.com, Index to Theses of Great Britain and Ireland. Site registration necessary. imr.utsa.edu, University of Texas, San Antonio. si.umich.edu/chico/instrument, instrument encyclopedia. Music Heritage Network developed by Chico, Cultural Heritage Information and Community Outreach Project, Electronic Appendix, contains sound examples that have been mentioned in articles of the Journal of New. library.indstate.edu/level1.dir/cml/rbsc/rare2.html number sign Kirk, Kirk Collection, Dance Band Index. From Indiana State University, a collection of 1,532 dance orchestra arrangements dating from 1900 to 1955. kkarchiv.de, Klasskunk Archive of Popular Music. Bremen, Germany. levyzetmusic.mse.jhu.edu, the Lester S. Levy Sheet Music Collection. Milton S. Eisenhower Library of the Johns Hopkins University, focuses on popular American music spanning the period 1780 to 1960, AHRA equals lml.badw-munchen.de, Lexicon Musicum Latinum. Dictionary of Medieval Latin Musical Terminology to the end of the 15th century. www.sul.stanford.edu/department/music/mla/necrology/index.html, MLA Notes Obituary Index. lib.latrobe.edu.au/audiovisual/stinson/medmusic.htm, Medieval Music Database. La Trobe University. The Scribe database is a systematic collection of scores, color images, texts, and bibliographic information of medieval music which can be searched by text or melody and which will return musical information in the form of a modern score, text data and, where available, a color facsimile of an original manuscript. igl.ku.dk/mmb, Monumenta Musici Byzantini. Inventory of microfilms and photographs /University of Copenhagen, Institute for Greek and Latin. mdeshows.com/musicals.htm, MT Infobase of musicals. From Music Theatre International Music Education Resource Base, including the Canadian Music, MERB/CMI, a bibliographic database of more than 28,000 journals and other sources covering the period 1956 through the present. music.miami.edu 591/MES, Music Education Search System. Edward P. Asmus. Includes indexes to 13 music education journals, the Poland Caddy Abstracts, and the Boletinda Investigation Educativo Musical. nisi.kun.nl/mmm, Music, Mind, Machine Project. Part of the Nijmegen Institute for Cognition and Information, project about computational modeling of music cognition with an emphasis on the temporal aspects of music perception and music performance such as rhythm, timing and tempo. Publications Index. Musicanet.org, Musica. The International Database of Choral Repertoire / International Federation for Choral Music. Musica.uci.edu, the Music and Science Information Computer Archive. Scientific Research, References and Abstracts, on music as related to behavior, the brain, and allied fields. Old name and URL. lights.com/hitelnet/ful/full063.html Music and Brain Information Database, MBI. libut.edu 90/music/songwizard, MusicLink, UTK Song Index. Provides access to about 50,000 songs in more than 1,400 published song anthologies owned by the George F. Devine Music Library at the University of Tennessee, Knoxville. catalyst.ncl.ac.uk/obituary, obituary page. operabase.com, Opera Base. Information on opera performances, opera houses, opera timelines. gray.music.rhodes.edu/opera htmls/works.html, operas and composers, a pronunciation guide. gray.music.rhodes.edu/opera htmls/terms.html, opera terms, a pronunciation guide. parlorsongs.com, the Parlor Songs Collection. The amazing collection of popular and classical sheet music from the 1800s to the 1940s and beyond, includes MIDI files. performancepractice.com, an online publication and represents a continuation of the print journal Performance Practice Review. recordmaster.com, recordmaster.com. www.personal.umich.edu/David Cr, Renaissance Liturgical Imprints, a census. Relics, University of Michigan, database of information about worship books printed before 1601. web.gc.cuny.edu/rcmi/redeem.htm, redeem UK. Repertoire International d'Iconographie Musicale. rilm.org, RILM. Repertoire International de Littérature. nisc.com/ripm, RIPM. Repertoire International de la Presse Musicale/retrospective index to music periodicals. rism.stub.uni-frankfurt.de/index1_e.htm, rism. Repertoire International des Sources Musicales, International Inventory of Musical Sources. rism.harvard.edu/rism/online.html, rism online resources. lib.harvard.edu/e-resources/details/a/archreso.html, hollis, archival resources. Valid Harvard ID required. rism.harvard.edu/cgi-bin/zform.cgi?a2, rism-a/2, music manuscripts after 1600. Graphical database of more than 200,000 bibliographic records for MSS in 24 countries. telnet/plus.harvard.edu 3027, available on hollis. rism.harvard.edu/cgi-bin/zform.cgi?rism lib, rism us libretto database. Contains bibliographic records for more than 11,000 printed and manuscript libretti for musical stage pieces from the earliest manifestations through the early 20th century from the Schatz collection at the Library of Congress. rism.harvard.edu/cgi-bin/zform.cgi?rism libdir, rism libraries directory, rism names, address, and up-to-date rism sigla for more than 5,500 libraries holding music materials relevant to rism series. rism.harvard.edu/cgi-bin/zform.cgi?rism bib, bibliographic citations database. Citations for thematic catalogs and other secondary sources cited in rism series A/2, a key to articles, discographies, live/record reviews in the music press worldwide from January 1992 to date, now incorporating record label info. music.indiana.edu/smi, saggi musicali italiani. A database for texts on music theory and aesthetics/Center for the History of Music Theory and Literature, Indiana University. unibus.ch/mab/scb/orchest.htm, selected bibliography related to orchestra practice. 17th to 19th centuries, compiled by Thomas Drescher. sparky.parmley.luc.edu/shark, shark timber database. Gregory J. Sandel, a resource devoted to the study of what determines the timbre, or characteristic signature of musical instruments. governor.state.tx.us/music, Texas Music Bibliography. Texas Music Office, Office of the Governor. uga.edu/thema, thema equals music theory of the Middle Ages. This database comprises hypertext transcriptions of 18 manuscript copies of 14 Latin theoretical treatises related to musica mensurabilis of the 13th century. PCM1671.cs.uu.nl, Thesaurus Musicarum Italicarum, TMI. Utrecht University. music.indiana.edu/tml, Thesaurus Musicarum Latinarum, TML. umi.com/hp/products/dissertations.html, umi/dissertation express. ub2.lu.se/auto_news/auto_54.html, waste databases in music. No longer updated. whiton.sol.co.uk/index.cfm, Whiton database. music.ucdavis.edu/people/reynolds/women_songs_home.html, women song composers, a listing of songs published in the United States and England. Music websites 1. stl-music.com/hub.html, aardvarks best of the web. Ditto. Andante.com, Andante. Everything classical. artsinfo.com, artsinfo. The resource for the performing arts. artsnet.org, artsnet at Carnegie Mellon. nas.com/bdgtti/bdg_158.html, Big Dummies Guide to the Internet, Music. hss.cmu.edu/music, Carnegie Mellon University's English Server, Music. classicalusa.com, Classical USA, classical music on the net.